Good evening, Southeast Texas. Hope you're doing well. We've got lots to talk about, and I hope this information is very useful to you and your family and your decision-making process. We'll try to go through what we know and what we think is going to happen, and then we'll talk about what this may mean to Southeast Texas, and then we'll talk about taking questions. So first off, the very latest is that starting to see some banding on the north side of Cuba as we continue to see Laura moving away from Cuba. And of course, there's Marco, but let's just cover Marco real quick and get through this because I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. The convection, the clouds displaced to the well to the north and west of the center. This will be moving across the area coming up by tomorrow night. So this is not going to stick around. We may see some showers out of it, but the deal is I don't think we're going to see flooding. I'm pretty sure of that because it has to get out of the way because Laura is coming. Let's get to Laura now, and that's why I'm not expecting a stall. Hopefully I made that clear. Starting to see some banding, and this storm may be a little further north than what the Hurricane Center is showing right now. As you can see, banding around towards the northwest side to the west of Havana, Cuba. And again, this is about ready to go across the western tip of Cuba and then into the southeastern Gulf of Mexico. And when that happens, again, we're removing obstacles, or I should say variables. This has been a very difficult forecast. We've got the interaction with the circulation, with the land. We've got high pressure over the southwestern Atlantic and off into the southeastern U.S. That's pushing this on off towards the west and northwest. We've got low pressure over Texas. Just a lot of things that could still change this track, and we're hopeful that that does. Again, expecting this to become a hurricane Wednesday at 1 a.m. Okay, this is the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center. Here's the 7 p.m. observation. It's at 65-mile-per-hour winds. It's moving west-northwest at 20 miles an hour. It's forecast to become a Cat 2 hurricane early Wednesday morning with winds of 100 miles an hour. Then officially making a landfall off towards our east. Cat 2. Again, hurricane watches are in effect for Southeast Texas, the coastal counties. Cat 2 just to the east of Cameron, Louisiana, as a Cat 2, a strong Cat 2 with winds of 105 miles an hour. This, in perspective, is the track Rita took as a 120-mile-per-hour Cat 3 over towards Johnson Bayou, then going up towards the lakes area. It was a much bigger storm, I think. And the other thing is that this is to our east. However, as I've been posting all over Facebook, if this is going to shift, it's going to shift back towards Southeast Texas, the upper Texas Gulf Coast. That's what we've got to be on the guard for. A lot of the ensemble modeling is into the upper Texas Gulf Coast, and that would be a worse scenario for us. But right now, officially, Hurricane Center has it to the east of Cameron with winds of 105 miles an hour. Now, this is saying it's going to be moving quickly, so it's not going to stall. That's why rainfall amounts are not that surprisingly heavy. To the east of the center of circulation, wherever that ends up being, will be imperative to the rainfall forecast because obviously the rainfall forecast will be for heavier rainfall near the center and track and off to the east. As you can see, it moves very quickly off towards the north. So this could be worst of the weather looks like Wednesday evening and then improving weather after about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, maybe towards daybreak. So basically overnight. I know, why do these things happen overnight? It's just the timing. All right, here we go with a hurricane watch in effect for Chambers, South Liberty, Jefferson, Orange, Calcasieu, back over to Cameron, Jeff Davis, Acadia Parish, I believe, and over towards Vermilion Parish. Then we have an inland tropical storm watch for Southeast Texas Lakes area back over to Hardin County, and then a storm surge watch in effect for our coastal counties back over in the southwest Louisiana. So again, a Cat 2, it's a strong Cat 2 forecast to make landfall at 105 miles an hour. And again, I'm going to say, I think it's a real possibility this could be a Cat 3. There's some other scarier scenarios that I've already posted which are possible. Maybe a Cat 3. That's what we're thinking right now. Again, that's speculation on my part. Let's take a look at the tropical storm force wind probabilities. Okay, so we're at 70% with the orange and 80%. This is for winds of 39 miles an hour or higher. Okay, that's what a tropical storm is, 39 to 73 miles per hour. Sustained hurricane winds of 74 miles an hour. We're at about a 20% probability right now into portions of southeast Texas, obviously higher towards Cameron. These odds are going to go up as we get closer to landfall. Okay, here's a high resolution modeling as far as the storm surge regarding Tropical Storm Laura as she makes landfall into southwest Louisiana. Obviously, wherever the eye wall is, you'll see the highest storm surge, but obviously the dirty side is where you see the south winds off the Gulf of Mexico, and that's where we're expecting anywhere between 6 to greater than 9 feet to the east of the center of circulation. To the west of the eye wall, which I think is going to be, well, to the west of the eye wall, it'll be lower in southeast Texas because we have a northwesterly wind forcing water off to the south. So hopefully this track doesn't move to the west, because if it does, we'll have a significantly higher storm surge. As far as excessive rainfall, that means the potential for flash flooding, slight to moderate risk over southeast Texas, southwest Louisiana. We need rain. I don't think we're going to have a problem with 3 to 5 inches right now. I just say that right now. So tonight looks like a fairly quiet forecast. This is Futurecast, a short-range Futurecast we all know and love. Low temperatures in the mid-70s. Then tomorrow, we'll be watching Marco come in tomorrow night late. We'll give it a 40, maybe 50% coverage of showers and thunderstorms. It doesn't show that much here, and that's part of the uncertainty as far as this forecast. May not get that, but right now I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue as we see Marco move in with northeasterly winds. Now here's the longer range forecast, and you can see we've moved to Wednesday afternoon at noontime. This shows Laura making a landfall east of Cameron. There's at 11:05 p.m. and then moves quickly past Kinder, past DeRidder, and on into Vermilion Parish east of Burkeville by daybreak, or just after daybreak, coming up Thursday morning. So it's not going to last long because it's going to be moving. It's going to be hauling to the north very quickly. So, 3-4 hours of the potential for hurricane force wind gust based on this track is what we're looking at right now. Now, if that track shifts west, which I think there's a possibility, I wouldn't be saying it if I didn't think that's a possibility. I don't think it's going to go further east. If they're going to track, if the National Hurricane Center is going to do anything, they would back it up between here and Houston. That's, again, speculation on my part, but it's backed up by reason and what I've seen. All right, so late tomorrow and overnight into early Wednesday, Marco will be over southeast Texas. That's not our biggest concern. Wednesday evening into the wee hours of Thursday morning, Laura will be over southwest Louisiana making its closest approach. At least that's based on the latest forecast from the National Hurricane Center. If it moves further west, we got a whole different ball game. At this point, I think we could see tropical storm force winds, at least gusts close to it, by possibly Wednesday afternoon, and that would last all night until maybe daybreak Thursday morning. For the triangle, we could see some wind gusts to hurricane force between, I think, 9 p.m. Wednesday and 1 a.m. Thursday. For the lakes, hurricane force wind gusts possible between 11 p.m. Wednesday and 3 a.m. Thursday morning. These times are fluid, okay? That means they can change, but that's a rough idea from what I can see. Here are the wind gusts associated with Laura. This is at 10:15 Wednesday evening. Wind gusts, Beaumont 43, 72 into Orange, and 80 back over into Port Arthur, okay? 105 into Cameron. Wind gusts, 80 miles an hour by 11:30 p.m. into Port Arthur. Then that will continue to expand across the triangle. Look at that, over towards Lake Charles at 94. You get the idea. It's going to be windy coming up Wednesday night. All right, so here's our forecast. I've got about a 40 to 50% coverage coming up late Tuesday. May not see that. It's going to be breezy coming up on Tuesday. Wednesday, as we go through the afternoon, the weather will be going downhill. I think with what I've seen from Rita and what We think right now, based on the latest track from the National Hurricane Center, I think northeast winds at 50 miles an hour sustained in certainly eastern half of southeast Texas, and maybe some gusts, especially over towards Orange, maybe Port Arthur of 85 are possible. And that's going to be for a small window. That's going to be Wednesday night. And by daybreak, I think most of the winds will be out of southeast Texas. So this is not going to stick around. It's not going to produce flooding because of flash flooding because of rainfall. If we have any problems, it will be storm surge and mainly the winds out of this hurricane. Still very tropical air mass over the area, so we'll see scattered showers and thunderstorms persist through Thursday, Friday, and on into the weekend. All right, I hope I presented everything you needed, and let's see if we can't get some questions answered real quickly.
Most people are asking just about evacuation.
I'm probably not the person to ask for evacuations right now. I do know that Mayor Barty has ordered an evacuation for Port Arthur and I believe Orange too.
Got some people asking about flooding concerns.
Okay, flooding is not a concern right now because of rainfall. Let me get to that graphic. If there's only going to be any problems, it would be storm surge coming off the waters off the Gulf of Mexico. And let me get past this. I just don't think there's going to be a problem. We need rain in Beaumont. I don't know about you, but my yard needs it. Okay, right here, this shows what? Let's see, this is 5, 4, 3, yeah, 2 to 5 inches across southeast Texas. Sorry, we need that. Not going to cause, not expecting a Harvey, not expecting an Imelda, because these storms are going to be moving. So if we have any problems as far as water, it would be along the coastline because of storm surge, and that is really dependent upon the exact track. So that's what we're looking at now. Anything else?
Somebody asked if it does shift west, will that kind of change the timeline of things, or is it still going to move through pretty fast?
It will still move through fast if it does shift west, and there's the potential. Some of the ensembling is showing that potential. Instead of it moving into east of Cameron, there's several models that are trying to bring it off to the west. So,
somebody's asking, what would force it west? Is it the high pressure system or something?
Minute changes. The high doesn't just stay intact in the upper atmosphere. It expands and contracts with heating at nighttime and afternoon. So that will deflect the storm east or west. Okay, the higher resolution that you have, like the European, and I'm going to say a European has the highest accuracy, okay? We'll see how well it does after all this is done as far as this. But a lot of models can't see the resolution that particular model does. So knowing exactly where the outer periphery of that high is will dictate when it starts moving back to the north and turns. And that turn could be into, and we're talking as little as 50 miles can make that much of a difference, okay? It could be, the outer periphery could be into southwest Louisiana. But what if the model's wrong? It could be further to the west. It's just very early. I think we're going to know a little bit more tomorrow. Any other questions?
People are asking about wind, debris, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you know, I think we're going to have power outages, even with what I'm seeing right now. Let me get to that graphic. You saw that, there you go, with the wind gusts. Yeah. The ground is dry. You get winds gusting 40, 50, 60, maybe 80 miles an hour. I think there's going to be power outages with limbs down and trees coming down. And that's because the ground is dry. So yeah, I think we could see winds gusting at times in some portions. Not everybody, but portions of southeast Texas could see some wind gusts at or above hurricane force, and that's 74 miles an hour. I think that's a real possibility.
I have people asking just about various different locations across the region, Winnie,
as far
Victoria,
as what, winds?
Just everything, I guess.
Okay. Let's just back up. With this track, with it going over towards east of Cameron, if that verifies and there's no shift back to the west, then the less windy spots in southeast Texas would be maybe Hardin County, back over towards Tyler County, because you would be closer to the center of circulation in through Newton County, Orange County, and eastern portions of Jefferson County with this track. Now, if the track changes back to the west, it's a different ballgame. But right now, eastern and southeastern sections of southeast Texas would see the higher wind gusts. Sabine Pass, Port Arthur, Mid-County, Orange would see higher wind gusts than, say, Fred or Spurger or back over in towards Votah. I hope that makes sense as far as the winds. Again, rainfall, I'm just not real concerned with rainfall right now. It's winds out on this one.
Can you go over the storm surge one more time?
Yeah, sure. Was that before or after this? No, it was before this. The latest on the storm surge, this is put out from the National Hurricane Center. I've got a very high resolution data here. Again, this is the track just east of Cameron. So it's imperative to know where you live in relation to the exact track. If this track changes left and moves more towards us or over towards Houston, it's going to be a different scenario, because then we'll have wind and storm surge. I think the worst of the storm surge is going to be obviously towards Big Lake and over towards Holly Beach, because you're going to be in the eye wall with this forecast track. Off to the east over towards Lake Arthur, Abbeville, into Vermilion Parish, eastern Cameron Parish, South Jeff Davis Parish along the Mermentau River. That's where you're going to start having the worst storm surge. Greater than 9 feet is indicated here. Eye wall, maybe, you're talking maybe a 20 to 30 mile wide eye is reasonable. So into western Cameron Parish may be the extent of the eye wall. So that's why we're seeing less storm surge in through Port Arthur, back into Orange County and along the coastline. Also because we have northerly winds. Remember, the winds will be moving in this direction, a counterclockwise direction. So if you're west of that line, you're going to have north winds. If you're to the east of that line, you're going to have an onshore flow. And that's where it brings in the waters off the Gulf of Mexico and causes that storm surge. So right now, this is showing over towards Bridge City about 6 feet of a storm surge. So still a storm surge. And of course, there's the Port Arthur levee. 6 feet over towards Port Arthur is what this is showing. And then west of Port Arthur, what is that lake? I forget. It's great for red fishing. Can't remember. It shows greater than 3 feet above the ground, back over towards near High Island, about 3 feet above. All right? Hopefully that added everything they needed.
Yeah, some
Any
people
other
are
questions?
asking about potential for tornadoes.
Sure. Anytime we get a band in, you want to watch on radar. Any banding with that rotates around the storm, that's where you'll have. Every time a band comes in, okay, let's back up. Some areas with the feeder bands, and then areas that don't have rain. You know what I'm talking about. Those areas that don't have rainfall are called moats. When the bands come in, that's where you're going to see the heaviest rainfall, obviously, and the greatest winds, because the winds increase in height. So when you have heavy rain in that feeder band, it forces the stronger winds down to the surface. That's why they're so gusty. And Rita, I learned this, is that you have the gustiness in the winds. They'll go from 60 to 90 miles an hour very quickly because of those feeder bands. So anytime a feeder band comes in, I fully expect, if this track verifies, they will have a tornado watch over towards southwest Louisiana. So yeah, tornadoes are possible.
All right. We got somebody asking about the European track. Is that on the same line as where it is going now?
Let's just say, I don't always show the European, okay? I think it has the best score accuracy-wise, and I don't just show that. I just got through showing this is one of the newer models that has the highest, very high resolution. This is the IBM graph. We're still seeing, experimenting with this new model to see how well it does. The higher the resolution, usually the better it does as far as forecast accuracy. We'll see if that materializes. But the European, which does have the highest accuracy, and that's why we always say European. It's just the best model. Why would I want to show you anything better than the best? You are my best customers, okay? So here's the deal. That's why I always say that. Why would I use anything that has a lower score? Now, it's not the perfect model in the world, but that's why I do. It's because it's got the highest accuracy. Now, the European does show the ensembles say the upper Texas Gulf Coast. That's just a fact. It's not trying to be scary, but that's why I keep saying that if we're going to see a change in the forecast track, it's going to be back towards the upper Texas Gulf Coast.
You said this could reach Category 3. Could it possibly go any more intense than that?
Anything's on the board right now with this much uncertainty. You know, the waters out in the Gulf of Mexico are running 87, 88, 89 degrees. No other storms in the last month have really moved over that area to stir up the water. So it is very warm. There's high pressure over the Gulf of Mexico, which makes for light shear. So you got light shear, very warm waters in the Gulf of Mexico. Rapid intensification is certainly on the board. I can't promise you that one way or another, but it's a possibility.
All right, most of the other ones are just about specific areas,
About what, winds or rainfall?
just asking about locations, how conditions are going to be, just in general, I guess.
Okay, I would love to sit down with each one of you and say, okay, this is what it's going to be like in Burkeville or North Silsbee or back over towards Fred or Spurger, or it's time, okay? I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I'm trying to give as much information to as many people as possible. But here's a general idea of what we think is going to happen, okay? So we'll cut Southeast Texas in half and we'll call from Hardin County and southern Jasper, southern Newton County, the lakes area, okay? South of that we'll call the triangle, okay? Laura will be moving into range coming up in the northwest Gulf of Mexico Wednesday evening and then move through on overnight. I think we could see tropical storm force winds affect the area from about noontime Wednesday until 5 a.m. Thursday. Okay, so if you live in Winnie, Beaumont, Orange, Mauriceville, Sour Lake, the three-county area, okay? That's what I'm calling the triangle. If you're in those counties, I think we could see the potential for hurricane force wind gusts between 9 p.m., roughly 9 p.m. Wednesday until 1 a.m. Thursday, okay? The lakes at that time will probably have tropical storm force winds. Then we pass that off to the north to the lakes and let them deal with it, and the triangle starts calming down after 1 a.m. Thursday. Tropical storm force winds and then gradually slowing on down. So the lakes area, I think the worst, what am I talking about? Lakes area. We're talking, okay, let me get some real small towns. Let's say Call, let's say Fred, Warren, back over to Burkeville, maybe Newton, Jasper, Cominil, okay? If you live in those towns, there's the potential, not guarantee, roughly around 11 p.m. Wednesday through about 3 a.m. Thursday. That's what I think. And then that moves off after about 3 a.m. and you'll deal with tropical storm force winds until about 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Thursday. Again, this is rough and it's probably going to change, but that's the way it looks right now. Hopefully everybody got their town in there.
Somebody's asking when the next National Hurricane Center...
10 o'clock. We're going to be watching this very closely. So we got, I get it about 9:53. So we've got about just under an hour and a half. So it's going to be very interesting, I think, to see what happens. Will they go with some of the modeling to the west, or they will continue with the track? That'll put a lot of questions in my mind to rest. Hopefully, we don't see a shift. Let me just say this. If this track that we see right now, yeah, it can always be better, but we'll take this over it moving to our west. Let's just say that. We want to be on the clean side of the storm, not the dirty side.
And just some more questions about different areas. So.
Okay. All right. I'm going to do this one more time. And we're going to just start with Laura so that we cover everything. I'm kind of backing up here a little bit so that we can show you. All right, here's a track from Laura, and it's expected, again, one of the variables is going to be eliminated, and that's the interaction with the land, and it's coming off the land tonight, And I think modeling is going to start doing a real good job. So again, the waters out here are 87, 88, 89 degrees. High pressure overhead, light shear. 85-mile-per-hour winds at 1 a.m. Thursday morning. Then as we head towards 1 p.m. Thursday or Wednesday afternoon, it goes to a Cat 2. Then as we head towards Thursday morning early, the official forecast, not modeling, takes it over towards Cameron or just east of there, okay? And then moves off towards the north. That pink line, just to put things in perspective, was Hurricane Rita in 2005. That track, and that came in as a Cat 5, Cat 3 storm. It was a Cat 5 in the Gulf of Mexico, but it weakened because it ingested dry air. Right now, we are under a hurricane watch for the coastal counties of Southeast Texas, Chambers, South Liberty, Jefferson, Orange counties, back over towards Vermilion, Cameron Parish, and also into Calcasieu Parish. North of there, in towards the lakes area, Hardin County included, Tyler, Jasper, and Newton, you're under a tropical storm watch. It means tropical storm force winds are possible in that area within, I believe, the next 48 hours. I believe that's what it means. Storm surge watch in effect for Jefferson, Chambers, Orange counties, Calcasieu Parish, Cameron Parish, Jeff Davis Parish, Vermilion Parish, and I believe that's Acadia Parish. Forget, I have to look that up. So a Cat 2, this is what this is forecast to be, is between 96 and 110 miles an hour. So it's not close to be, it's not far from being a Cat 3, which begins at 111 miles an hour. I think there's a possibility of that. As far as the probability that you will see 39-mile-per-hour winds or greater in Southeast Texas, it's going to be on a north to south line. The further east you are, the higher the winds, the greater probability. It looks like about an 80% probability from Newton County, Orange County, and eastern Jefferson County. Highest wind speeds and best probability are over towards Lake Charles, Iowa, Louisiana, Jennings, and to the east of Cameron. As far as hurricane possibilities, now this is early, and these odds will go up, but the best chance will be Newton, southern Newton and Jasper County, Orange, and Jefferson County. Right now it's about a 20, let's see, is that 20%? 30%. That's where we're at right now. Again, the track will dictate the storm surge. If you're west of the exact track, your storm surge will be lower. East of it, you're talking 9 feet possible, okay? As far as flash flooding or heavy rainfall, it's not going to be a Harvey. It's not going to be a Melda. Remember, oh, by the way, remember the European was showing 50 inches of rainfall falling over us with Harvey? It's not doing that this time. It was the only model to do that, by the way. So, 3 to 5 inches, I think it's a good bet. I think we can handle it. A lot of brown yards around here. We need rain. Otherwise, let me go ahead and skip ahead. I really like this model because of the resolution, but it takes it on in east of Cameron and quickly off towards the north. So this is not going to linger, okay? So put that out of your mind. This is going to move quickly through the region, wherever that is. Do we have any other questions?
Mostly just repeats of some of the previous ones.
Okay, so I'll go over this again, the timeline and what we think. At this point, this is from the 4 o'clock National Hurricane Center forecast. If this changes to the west, all bets are off, okay? But here was what we think related to that forecast track. Wednesday evening, Thursday morning, Laura will be over southwest Louisiana, making its closest approach to southeast Texas. I think we could see tropical storm force winds from about noon Wednesday right on overnight until about 5 a.m. Thursday morning, maybe daybreak, roughly. That's what I think. Hurricane force winds, mainly the eastern and southeastern sections of southeast Texas. I think Newton County will see a better chance of seeing hurricane force wind gusts than Tyler County. I think Orange County is going to have a better chance of seeing hurricane force winds rather than Liberty County. Jefferson County is going to have a better chance of seeing hurricane force winds than Chambers County. If we do see them, hurricane force winds between 9 p.m. Wednesday and 1 a.m. Thursday in the triangle. The lakes will see tropical storm force winds during that time period. Then we're going, and when I say lakes, I'm talking Hardin, Tyler, Jasper, and Newton counties. The triangle, Jefferson, and also maybe Orange County, and really somewhere in that vicinity. We will trade that off, and the lakes area will begin seeing hurricane force winds possible between 11 p.m. Wednesday night and 3 a.m. Thursday, and the triangle will see tropical storm force winds. After that, things will be improving, especially as we head towards Thursday morning daybreak.
Some people asking about Marco. That's pretty much a non-event right now.
I don't want to say non-event, but it's not what we're concerned about right now. We good? Okay, so again, the wind gusts. Look at this. Okay. Oh darn it! I hit the trigger. Okay, so again, hurricane force wind gusts, Jefferson County, Orange County, and possibly into the lakes area. Why did that do that? And these are wind gusts. Heads off to the north. Okay? Worst of the weather is going to be east of us at this point. So I've thought about this. Rita was close, not quite the exact track, so I'm not going, and this is probably not going to be as big a storm. So I think reasonably most of us will see 50-mile-per-hour winds. I think that's good at this point. Some of us could see some gusts, specifically and especially eastern sections of our viewing area could see some gusts at or above hurricane force Wednesday night. And the most likely would be Newton, Jefferson, and Orange counties. But that's not going to be any more than about four hours, and then it's gone. And we'll still see tropical storm force winds. If we're lucky, by Thursday morning, I think we could go below tropical storm force winds, and most of us should be calming down by daybreak on Thursday. Still, it's going to be a very tropical air mass, and I believe trees will come down, and I believe there will be power outages. And you have to contend with the heat and humidity after that with no air conditioning. We good? Everybody, I hope you have a wonderful night. I have done my best to provide the most reasonable information to you. We're not here to scare you. I'm trying to provide all information from all different models and get you ready for what is possible and plausible over the next coming days. We care about you. I grew up here, I'm from here, and it matters to me what happens to you in this area. Download our app, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and I hope you and your family have a wonderful evening.